apartment of 12?
I mean, not 12. Yeah,
144?
yeah.
The main one, the main one.
The one with the reddish orange background.
Yeah, the main one we always used to stream.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Cool. All right, Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh,
Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Barachak, Wadash.
Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And getting right into it, we were just discussing, as you put the title, the countdown has begun, and we were just discussing about this Q4, okay, the fourth quarter. Really, how brothers was bringing up how they might do away with this. A judge might rule on this rent control, and basically do away with it, which would mean that landlords wouldn't really have a restriction on how much to charge, which, I mean, I guess landlords did take a hit during the whole pandemic before, when they set up that moratorium where they couldn't evict people, and you had some landlords that were pretty upset seeing somebody coming with a new car and a new boat, and this dude ain't paid rent for 3 months, talking about he can't afford it, but he's out here affording all these other things, right? So he basically living there for free. And remember that landlords, they still have to pay for things, right, in order to maintain their property, right? Property tax, all of that. So that's why they charge rent. So now you got some landlords that have been waiting for revenge, and the second they take that thing off, because rent prices are already through the roof. It's already outrageous as it stands now. Okay, so these people who are already living paycheck to paycheck, using credit cards to pay bills, okay, and maxing out all of their shits, now they got to worry about, some of them already behind on rent, and now rent prices are going to start going up. So people are going to be in for a rude awakening. Like you were saying, the fourth quarter coming up, that's it looks like a lot of things might be going down. Now we got to watch and see how it goes, but wouldn't be surprised if they start crashing these things, coming in the fall. Okay. Yeah, you were saying something on that.
Yeah. Through the spirit, basically, like you said, the fourth quarter, that's where a lot of spending happens. A lot of companies, they go throughout the year and they make the bulk of their money happens during the fourth quarter. You got the holiday, so-called holiday season coming up. You got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas. A lot of people are shopping for that. But this year, you're not going to see that too much, because that trend really started dying. You go back, 2016, 2017, that spirit of the end time, the end of the year festivities were starting to die down, and now it's hitting people's pockets so much, they're not going to be able to survive that whole Christmas year. If you're a child at home, you're expecting a whole lot this year, forget about it. Your parents going to hit you with that talk and say, listen, things are pretty bad, just like 08, 09. We were hearing that conversation. The economy's pretty bad right now, so you guys might not be getting no presents this year. So you're going to be getting a lot of that. Car prices are going out the roof. I saw a video of this guy who was trying to buy a truck, and he said, yo, I got nothing against Dodge or nothing, but this truck over here is $75,000. He said, look, bro, that's like the price for a luxury car, like a Beamer or a Mercedes. Now you got trucks going up to $75,000 at the dealership, because they're jacking all the prices up. Yesterday I looked at my internet bill. That shit was $100 and something. I'm like, wait, time out. I've been paying 84. It first started at 60 sign. They moved it up to 80 sign. Now it's 100 sign. I looked at it, I'm like, nothing changed except for the bill. What happened here? So I'm about to call them and give them an earful. You see? And you got the car insurance. 2 years full. You got the car insurance, same thing. You paying a certain amount, all of a sudden they say, oh, this is how much you're gonna pay this month. Wait a minute, no explanation, no actual cost breakdown. They just put it out there and people just go, oh my God, this is my, I'm gonna pay for it. Health insurance is at an all-time high. You got people calling for an ambulance, and when they find out what the bill is, they jump off the gurney like, nah, fuck this. They're fine. They got this guy who jumped off a gurney and he took off, limping and all that, fell down, and they're like, yo, bro, we trying to help you. He said, no, I'm good, bro. You're not trying to help me, I'm good. Some dude is complaining about stitches. Like, there's a whole lot going on. And now, brothers, if you want to bring out, some more information on that, they're saying that there might be a ruling, like you said, that there might be a ruling that basically gives your renters immunity to charge whatever the fuck they want. So that's going to price people out of these houses, man. If you think you can't afford a house right now, your rent is too much, your mortgages are too high, wait till the end of this year. Wait until early into next year. You see, after everything dies down, all the spending goes down, and now it's time to face reality. The winter's cold. Wait till all that happens. And guess who's buying up all these apartment buildings? You got BlackRock in the middle of it. You got Chase. NGOs, yeah, non-governmental organizations are the ones who are really controlling the system as we speak. And they're the ones who are dictating how you're supposed to interact with the power they have. You see? So very soon, you're in the inner cities are going to be affected by this. All this construction that's happening, renovating and so on and so forth, there's going to be a bait. You know what I'm saying? You got to take this bait in order to live here. You know, you got to take this MOTB in order to qualify for this type of shit. You see? And if you can't qualify, you're going to be outside. And guess what? They're making laws to make it illegal to be outside, to be homeless. So that means you got to be sent to a certain shelter. And that's where the camps come in. The federal camps, known as FEMA camps. They're going to be joining in too. All right? They're going to be administering the V and so on and so forth. There's a lot that they got planned. It's about to be disseminated very soon. All right?
That's right. Yeah, like the brother was saying, anything they do, man, any laws they bring forth, anything that happens in the news, you got to tie it into the master plan, which is to bring forth the Karagma, the MOTB. It's all, everything that they do, every move that they play, it's all towards that ultimate checkmate that they want to do, which is to set up the MOTB, the market to beast system. But right here, this is from the website Jacobin, that's spiritual, Jacobin.com. It says landlords are pushing the Supreme Court to end rent control. Okay, this came out on August 16, 2023. And it says 2 landlord lobbying groups are petitioning the Supreme Court to overturn New York City's rent stabilization law, which would allow further countrywide challenges to rent control. Real estate billionaires friendly with court justices are backing the move. So it says, as the national housing crisis deepens, corporate lobbyists and conservative groups with ties to 2 Supreme Court justices, billionaire benefactors are pushing the court to let landlords hike rents. So rent stabilization is something that only allows a certain percentage, a certain percentage of the rents to be, or a certain percentage of the actual rent, they can only raise it on a certain percentage basis every year. That's rent stabilization, and rent control keeps the rent the same no matter who's in that apartment. It's a rent control apartment, so it can't change no matter who's in there. So if they strike that down, you're gonna have a lot of homelessness, you're gonna have a lot of overcrowding, which, you know, the article's gonna say it. It says, at issue is a petition from 2 landlord lobbying groups asking the High Court to overturn New York City's rent stabilization law, which has been on the books since 1969 and limits annual rent increases for more than 1 million units in the city.
So what they're trying to do, they're trying to make the people desperate. You know, they're trying to make the people dependent. Remember, you will own nothing and be happy. So if they make the people dependent, then the people are willing to take heed to whatever benefits that the government can provide them. You know, so that's the whole goal of making these things difficult. On top of that, they're hiking interest rates while inflation is going through the roof. And we said this was going to happen years ago, and they said it wasn't. And we told you exactly that, no, inflation is coming, and they said, no, it's not. Then they said it was transitory. And then they said it was going to be a soft landing. Well, so much for that now. And as inflation goes up, they might institute, the second they start putting in price checks, that's it, forget it. When they start putting them checks on how much businesses can charge for certain items because inflation is too high, that is a telltale sign that the economy or the country is going down. Because the same thing happened in Rome.
Right. And when they set up that situation where you're going to be forced to pay a higher rent, then people are going to be homeless, and then what's going to happen? You're at a disadvantage, and the so-called white man, biblical Edomites, they're going to have a one-up on you.
Right.
So they'll be able to, we'll give you housing, but you know you need to get this device up in you.
Yep. So that's what they're doing. They're trying to bait the people up into this thing. And they're going to get a lot of people. They're going to get a lot of people, man. Number one, you got the people that are down for it right now. But you're going to have a lot of people that are not down for it, but they're weak. You know, they're weak. And their weakness is going to get them to take that MOTB. And because of that, they're going to be destroyed. The same weakness that got them to take the juice. Some of them are weak for temptation and desires, and some of them are weak through endurance. Some of them, they want to live, they want to continue to live a worldly life. If you ask people that took the drink, all right, today, ask them what their reasons were. Some of them are going to tell you, oh, because they wanted to be protected. Some of them are going to tell you, oh, because they wanted to be able to travel, or they wanted to be able to continue living life and do whatever it is they wanted to do. And some of them are going to tell you because they needed to go to school or they needed to work. And all these reasons are weakness because they couldn't endure. Well, guess what? The same things you're able to do, we're able to do it now. And we didn't have to do it. We just had to endure. So ultimately, when the time comes with the MOTB, see, there's an explicit judgment written in the scriptures for those that take the MOTB. And there's no going around that. There's no escaping that. So if you're weak, you better start strengthening your mind.
Better start praying. Pray to the Lord. Pray prayer and fasting. That's what the Lord said. He said, watch as well as pray.
Yeah.
Because when you're watching and you're seeing these things, what's going to happen is, Lord, I'm seeing the on the horizon, and all I see is trouble. You're going to what are you going to do? You're going to start fasting so the Lord can build you up. You know, Lord, I'm seeing these. That's what a reasonable person would do.
Yeah, prudent man looking forward to his going.
That's it.
Foresee if the evil one hide himself.
There you go. You know, but what does a fool do? He walks right into a simple pass on, and what? They're destroyed. They're punished. You see? And that's what's going to happen, because what's happening is you're getting the word of warnings now. We got people that are passing by like it's nothing. We see it all the time. We talk to people all the time, and they don't care. It seems like, yo, bro, like, you don't see what's going on? Mm-hmm. Some of them see it, but they don't think of it as real enough because it hasn't hit them yet.
You know what's the worst part is when they say, well, if I die, I die. Or whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen anyway. And I mean, that's one of the most arrogant things for people to say. Because they're the same people, let a car swerve onto the curb and not even touch it, but just come close enough and see how shook they'll be. Let them see somebody get shot in front of them and see how messed up in the head they'll be. Because then they're not speaking in reality. They're doing solutions.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah. You know, death ain't simple. You know, and there's things worse than death. So that's the thing people don't think, oh, if I die, I die. Well, it's about how you die. You haven't clearly they haven't been in a situation where they wish they were dead. First off, nobody wishes to die. So imagine how bad it's gonna be for you to wish you would take death over whatever situation you're in. They don't think about things like that. You know, people in the time of Jacob's trouble, guess what? People don't, when you get taken and ravished, because the scriptures tell you that, we're gonna go into it. When these women get ravished, first off, the ravishers ain't going, oh, well, I don't wanna be the father, I don't wanna be nobody's baby daddy, so let me pull out. They don't give a damn. You know? So imagine going through Jacob's trouble with morning sickness. Now what? And you can't eat, you can't clean yourself.
You're injured, right? Because that's what's happening. They say there's these traffickers and shit. They say that there's some of these women that are being used. They're being bought out and used multiple times a day. Mm-hmm. There's a story I heard. This lady, she was getting used about 120 times a day. A day. Like, yo, you got no spirit at that point. They're fucking all out of you.
They're hollow.
Yeah.
And that's the type of shit that these people don't realize when they open their mouths and they say these things. Because the scriptures say every idle word shall be, you know, you're gonna have to give an account for it. So when that time comes, maybe a death angel might be there to fulfill your request. Oh, it's not so bad, huh? Oh, it's not so bad. Let me show you how not so bad it is. Well, let's get what you got, and then let's get.
There's
a bit more.
Just,
Okay.
It says Samuel Stein, a housing policy analyst at the Community Service Society, right, an anti-poverty organization in New York, said that if the Supreme Court were to overturn the rent stabilization law, it's the end of New York City.
Oh shit! This place now. On top of that, they got this problem with migrants. You know, they saying these migrants are they taking over everything. You know, they're going up into places, and they say that some of these people coming from the drug cartels and foreign countries, gangs and shit, and they come here posing like they're this shit, and then they start infiltrating. So next thing you know, you walking down your block, you're like, who the fuck is this? You know, you got a whole group, they just there looking. Yeah, what's up, hermano? You know?
Hey, and even the mayor of New York City even said it. He said, yeah, oh man. He said, hey, very soon, he said, you know, our public spaces are being overpopulated, so very soon your personal residence is going to have to be a home of abode for these people to come in.
Somebody used to find that nigga, man.
He's like, you know, the churches are, you know, overflowed, so soon, you know, you New York residents, you're going to start opening up your doors, be more hospitable, and have some of these people come in and live with you. Hey,
oh,
what kind of, you know what I'm saying? What is this?
I'm paying rent for somebody to come over here
And they're
eat my food.
they're going to use that crisis in order to say, well, we need to track all these people that are just dispersed out here, and we'll set you up. We'll pay the landlords to give you the housing at a nice price, because the way the government budgets work, they got to spend an exorbitant amount of money to renew that budget next year. So they got to be wasteful on purpose, which is retarded. But they're going to already set it up to where, okay, all these migrants coming in, you landlords, you got space now. We kicked all these other regular American citizens are going to be taking the back seat to, you know, people from other countries. And hey, man, people are going to lose it when that happens.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Imagine your daughter gets assaulted by somebody. First off, you already a conservative Edomite, and your daughter gets assaulted by a migrant. Man, these dudes ain't gonna want to hear shit, you know. And they're gonna tell you that's why they want Trump up in here, because he was trying to build a wall, right? And then they got Biden in there who said, leave this shit wide open, you know. But you know what else is the spirit? The Lord got the spirit on them to be coming up in here, because majority of them coming in here are Israelites of the various tribes. And when the Lord brings them in here, guess what? Some of them gonna end up in FEMA camps, right? Like it says in Jeremiah, such as are for the sword to the sword, to the captivity, for death to death, from famine to famine. So some of them are coming in here to be a part of the great judgment. Because you're going to come up in here, then they're going to lock shit down, and then the Lord's going to judge your ass in here.
But Rex 84 is based on that.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's based on that. It says it's based on
the influx of those migrants coming in.
Right, exactly that. You know, it was based on the influx of migrants coming in. It opens up the way for them to come in and start arresting people and shit like that.
And that's why they're going to use the FEMA camps.
That's it.
Because Rex 84 tells you they have these facilities set up already, and they have personnel in there. And
it's already fully functional.
Yeah, the trigger for that, like you said, it tells you in Rex 84 that the trigger was migrants coming from Central America, South and Central America. You know, so we're at that point.
Oh, they also came out with a law, the Supreme Court ruling. This was, I believe, 2021, and they said that anyone who's living in 100-mile radius of any ports, all right, they could come take you out. You know, the feds can come and take your ass out. And they said that includes, not just when they said border, they're not talking about just East Coast, West Coast, South and North. They're talking about if you're close to a airport, that's considered a border, because that's the land before you go to a different land. So that's also a border. So if you live in any 100-mile radius of any border, and when you look at it, most of the population is all circled around. The inner of America is not really as populated as outside of it. Because you have East Coast, West Coast, South and North, not really so much in the middle. You know, that's why you got Missouri and all these different states. They use those lands as their underground bunkers and all that shit, because most people are not living there. But the outskirts of the country is where you have mostly of JCAT. So they said, look, we just gonna push people towards the outskirts of the country, and then we're gonna come in and do what we gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Those 15-minute cities that they got planned and all that is really them using these artificial weapons to push the population to different parts of the land, and they come in and they control that shit. You see? So it's all being done by design. It's been happening since the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, but now all those plans are being made manifest. Back in the 80s, when you're reading about these plans, they looked at, these are conspiracy theories. Oh, they say by 2021 they're gonna be doing this. That's not gonna happen. That's too far out. Well, guess what? We're here, right? We're here and we're living these things. It's all being played out in front of us. And it seems like we're the only ones who can actually pinpoint these things and give that warning and say, hey, these things are written in the scriptures. This is what's gonna happen next. But most people are not paying attention.
Yeah, I saw a post that said everybody owes their conspiracy theory friend an apology.
Last couple sentences. It says, rents would go up significantly around the city, he continued. There will be a tremendous amount of displacement. You will have a lot of people leaving New York City. You will have a lot of homelessness. You'll have a lot of overcrowding.
And guess what? Then the government's going to have to do something about that, right? Of course they are, because they're the ones who set it up. They want to be in a position where they got to do something about it. You know what I mean? That's the problem, reaction, solution. You know, they got the solution ready, but see, they work in reverse. You know, it's not okay, there's a problem, let's find a solution. There's a solution, let's create a problem that's tailored specifically to this. So you ever wonder how it is that they came out with a Vanessa within what, 6 months? Because they had the solution on deck.
Biden's already creating one right. He's
talking
about one right now.
And people are not having it at all. They're gonna see some major uproars, man. Like the Lord said, right? Nation rising up against nation, kingdom against kingdom. And we already seen wars and rumors of wars. So things are getting intensified. But
I believe there's an article that I saw. I didn't really go into it, but I saw the headline. It was saying that Russia just activated their nuclear
intercontinental.
Yeah.
missiles,
So they're already ready to press that button. They're ready to go. So all the Lord got to do is, okay, send that signal and let's get this thing popping. And that's a few months from now. You see what I'm saying? They're saying that NATO is planning to do some type of actual attack in the spring. Yeah, against Russia and then blame it on Russia. I'm like, how the fuck is that even gonna work? Well, they've been doing it in Ukraine and all that, right? Propaganda and everything. You know? But you got it. Oh, when are they saying that this rule is going to take place?
September. This
Well,
month.
of course,
It's crazy.
of course.
And it's getting hot. And what's going to happen? It's getting ready for that so-called dark winter that they've been talking about for all these months, all these years.
Black Swan events.
Black Swan events and all that. They showed a clip, real eerie clip. A real eerie clip of a dude who was dressed like a woman and he was dancing on stage, performing like he was doing some type of performance in front of mad people watching. And as the performance is going on, the motherfucker's turning into a black swan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's doing the dancing, the theatrics and all that, and the people are like, woo, oh, clapping. And then at the end of it, he fully transitions into a black swan and he stands right there, boom, in front of everyone. And then
right
lights
over
go
their
out.
heads.
Yeah, and the lights go out.
Okay.
I said, oh shit. We saw it. Well, looking at it, I said, oh, there's a subliminal message to that. But the rest of the people, yeah. It looks like an art form.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, that's how they get you, man.
Remember that they have to. I think it's in one of their laws that they gotta inform the people of what they're gonna do. It's a part of their witchcraft.
Oh, the art of the method.
Yeah. Before they do it, they gotta let them know.
Yep.
You know, and pretty much that's kind of like mimicking the right hand side, right? Because Amos 3:7, surely the Lord will do nothing, but He revealeth the secret unto His servants the prophets. So now let's go into that. And what you got, Zechariah?
All right, it's the book of Zechariah.
Yeah, I'm not.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 14, start off at verse 1. It says, behold, the day of the Lord Yahweh cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee.
That's the first verse.
Verse 2, for I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished.
Yeah, and that links up with Isaiah 13, which we could go into that too, right? It says the houses shall be rifled. 2nd Ezra 15, they're going to be breaking up into these homes, right? And the women ravished. When you look up ravished, modern day terms means they're going to be taken, raped by force, and they ain't going to like it, right? And read that again.
It says, for I will, Zechariah 14 and verse 2, for I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished.
Now, when you read in Isaiah, it says, and their wives ravished. Okay? So you're going to have women that so-called don't have husbands, and women that so-called have husbands that are going to be getting ravished. Go on.
It says, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city.
Yeah, so pretty much when you read it in Zechariah, a lot of chapters in Zechariah put in a very metaphorical or poetic form, okay, but it's emphasizing that you're going to have people getting sent to the captivity. Now, what's an example of the captivity? These camps, all right? These camps that they're going to carry people off and send them into. And you ain't going to have a choice up in there. Watch that. The boy in the striped pajamas, I think that's what it was called. And it was about the JJs, you know, apparently it was about the JJs, you know, back in Germany and stuff. And you had two boys. One was the son of one of the generals, and the other one was a JJ that was behind the fence. You know, and he was wearing like a striped pajamas, you know, and basically they became friends. You know, and then ultimately, you know, they would play with the behind the fence. They would play games and shit like that. And then one day it was time, because what they were doing was they were broadcasting the field camps as getaways, like a vacation and stuff like that. You know, yeah, for the JJs. So whenever they were gonna get up in there, then they'll find out that that's not really what it is. But I think at the end they ended up gassing them up, you know, in the gas chambers, and then the kid got mad because his friend died and shit. You know, and all of that. But once again, his friend was only able to get out because of him. They would get out and play together and shit. But once you ended up in that camp, you ain't getting out. You know, lest the Lord be with you, you ain't getting out that camp. So such as are for the captivity, a lot of people gonna die in that captivity. Now, if the Lord is with you, you might either be a martyr or you might get delivered out of there. Maybe the Lord might put you in there to get somebody out. You know, like the Lord did with Paul and Silas. The reason he had them get arrested over there was so that they could meet that centurion, and then they could convert them. So really, the Lord ended up taking them over there for that very reason. And so you might end up in a FEMA camp, not because the Lord hates you, or it might be because the Lord hates you, but you might end up in there because the Lord he needs you to do a certain task.
Need it.
Yeah, you need it.
That's why the scriptures tell you, in Isaiah 33:6, it says that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and what? And the strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So ultimately, if you believe that you're a servant of the Lord, no matter what situation you're going to be in, you have to have faith that the Lord is going to deliver you from it.
Right.
Right? That's part of the reason why we're here in the first place. That Lord, ultimately, all this stuff we're going through, you're going to deliver us when your son comes back. So if you end up in a FEMA camp, or you end up in some type of, a tough place, or in some type of strait, right? You got to keep the faith that, how about El Shai is going to deliver me, right? It's not for no reason. I'm not here because the Lord want to put me here to be destroyed, right? You might get tortured, whatever it is, but guess what? Maybe the Lord might put a spirit on you to show strength for some elect who might be in there. Somebody might see you, they might hear something you say. You might be standing there, you might be praying to yourself, and somebody might hear you and be like, how about El Shai? Oh shit, yo, you said what? Oh wow, that's the spirit. Hey, you said something about this. I remember you, Hebrew Israelite, right? Yo, I believe the same thing. I don't know how we end up here, but I've been telling my family, this is gonna happen.
I used to watch videos.
Yo, I used to watch your videos, you know? And the Lord, that might boost your spirit. And be like, oh shit, I'm not in here alone, Lord. Hey, I got somebody who's, you know what? Let me help you out. Sometimes you might be in a very low state, but when you see a brother or a sister or somebody who's with you, who's in a lower state, it gives you more strength to help them out. You forget all about the weakness that you're going through, because you're like, yo, I gotta muster up some strength to help this person out. You see, and that could just help both of y'all. Hey, the scriptures tell in the book of Proverbs that 2 is better than 1, because when one falls down, the other can pick him up. You see, so it's always good to have that spirit of, you know what? I might be here alone. It might seem like I'm alone, but I'm not alone as long as Yahweh Bashim Yahshua is alive. And that's an opening for me to help somebody else out. You see, so I'm here for a reason. So we got to think of it that way. And the Lord is always going to provide. You see?
Might be something for the angel.
I was about to say, the thing about the story of Daniel, right? The Lord scripture says that the things written aforetime were written for our learning, right? So the story of Daniel, when you actually look at it from the perspective of somebody that was there, right? Daniel was literally thrown into a lion's den with everybody expecting him to be eaten. But when they came back, Daniel was there just chilling. So now you have the perspective of the story from Daniel's perspective, and then you have it from the third person's perspective. Daniel actually, people thought Daniel was about to be like, the next day we're just gonna find his carcass is gone. He can't come back and was like, oh no, the Lord basically provided. He got food, right? Because we learned in the Bell and the Dragon, that he actually had an angel send a whole another prophet to him to send him food. Yeah. And then the lions, they didn't even touch him. Yeah. So in Daniel's perspective, he actually just experienced a miracle. Right. So us being in captivity, people from the outside would be like, yo, why are y'all just chilling? Y'all not even upset. Y'all not even like nothing wrong with y'all. Y'all just in prison. Y'all just chilling. Yep. I'm like, oh yeah, no, because like my brother just came out of nowhere, he gave me some food. The lions, they just chilling. I ain't bothered, they ain't bothered. So what's the problem? I don't gotta work no more. I ain't in hell, I ain't gotta work. I'm good right now. Right. And that's like how to say, oh, then should my chosen be known, like Lord said, I'll be with you. Right. So that's how we're gonna feel that peace, that sense of peace while everything just going chaotic. Lord willing, we be those men. And people gonna see that. Some of the Lord might have, with Paul, right? Or Peter, was it? Angel came and like he delivered them. Yeah. So it's like, yo, we're gonna literally we read these things, but we gotta actually remember the Lord's gonna put us in those type of situations, and we're going to receive those same type of deliverances, those same type of spiritual divine intervention, to where we're gonna literally be at peace. We're literally gonna be at like, oh, hey, we're with me, we're good. Yeah. And we're gonna be serving, praising the Lord's name even more. That's right. And in the midst of a concentration camp, just imagine how hyped we'll be. Yeah. We get hyped now in certain small days. Yeah. They call like how much? We get hyped now by ourselves. We have the actual like food manifest, an angel come.
we see lions and they just chilling, looking at us, we gonna know that's immediately the Lord. And that name's gonna be even reverenced even more. They're like, no, who do you? Yahweh Bash. Why you keep saying that? Yahweh did this. Yahweh shot this. That name is going. That's how it's gonna be like. Who is this God? It is going to be amped more and more and more. So he just manifests. That's him.
There you go. There you go.
That's him.
That's weird because we tired the lesson. The countdown has begun. So
Yeah,
like you
Yahweh
said,
Shai
until
Yeah.
come
So
back.
his name.
That's what it is.
That's it.
Yahweh Shai did this. But who is that? Who is that? Boom.
There you go.
Them who love his appearing. Because nobody else is going to be waiting for that. This is going to be a dark day.
Word. He said,
It's going to be. It says it's going to be.
Dreadful terror.
Who shall? Woe is you that desire the day of the Lord. What in this for you?
we hoping to be delivered out of it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, I believe Daniel got thrown up in there twice. The
Oh,
first
yeah,
time
yeah.
with Darius, and the second time with Cyrus, where he got fed by Habakkuk.
Khan, yeah.
So here we go. You know what I'm saying? I've been here before.
And I believe there's an account where Daniel actually said that the angels came and closed the mouth of the lions. That's why they didn't eat them. You know, so I'm like, oh shit. Well, we always got to remember the Lord has power over the elements
And the animal.
and the animals. Like you could be in a freezing cold temperature, and the Lord could just put a spirit on you where you're not even gonna be cold. What's the brother? A winter soldier, right? They be mad. The brother got a light ass sweater. He be like, yo, how the fuck you surviving? And he just be like, hey, I'm just, you know, the Lord could do that. He controls the elements.
Or like the three holy children. When you that's two perspectives, right? Because when you read the one in the book of Daniel, it tells you the external perspective, but in the prayer of Azariah, it tells you what was actually going on in the middle of the fire.
Yeah, get that.
Yeah, that's
get that.
the apocrypha.
Yep.
Yeah.
May I bring out a quick precept real quick? This is the book of, matter of fact, I'm gonna start at 4. This book of Exodus chapter 19 verse 4. It says, "Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, which were present rulers at the time, and how I bare you on eagle's wings and brought you unto myself." And then verse 5 is where it gets good. "Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people." And at the point, for all the earth is mine.
Well, he said the earth is his footstool.
Go.
So, I mean,
Word. Get your feet up.
You got control of it all. Yeah,
Father
but
Spirit.
like in that precept that we're gonna get, they were rejoicing in the fire.
Yeah.
Now, how the hell you go into fire? And that's why the book of Ezra was bugged out.
Yeah.
He's asking his people, hold up.
They put him in there, right?
I know we threw 3 people in there. Why do I see 4? Why the 4th one look like an angel? And then when they came out, it said, look, when they came out, if you weren't there, you wouldn't believe they got thrown in fire. Because it said their hair wasn't singed. It didn't smell like they came out of fire.
That's good, yeah. That's crazy. That's wild.
So
He
the
said the
angels
fire was
airbended.
so hot that the plums I put them in
Killed
the
them.
cup.
Killed them. Yeah, it
When they
killed
opened
them.
that
Yeah.
thing up.
That, and Lord like, oh yeah, nah. Oh, that's what y'all okay. Just because y'all confess my name, let me show you something real quick. Let me show you something real quick. That's all like. Go on fire.
And they said that it was turned up 7 times more than normal.
Yeah.
It's completion. It's going to be turned up on us as well 7 times completion.
That
We're gonna be
consuming
delivered,
fire.
Yeah.
and it was, what was it? They didn't bow down to the image, right? It's the same thing the men, the Lord said he has reserved unto himself 7,000 men that will not bow the knee unto the image of Baal. We see that image being built right now.
Yeah.
You see, so it's the same spirit, worshiping the image of the beast. We're the only ones standing up and saying, we're calling you out for what this is, and it's all gonna fail in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. And he's going to use his men to make his name manifest.
You're my
He's
witnesses.
going to use his men to show his power. You see, and that's the thing. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is a power, just straight up power, bro. And you got to understand that. But see, the world doesn't understand that. They don't get that.
Yo, and the name of the Lord is so insignificant right now. Because look at what we're doing. We're actually literally making ourselves fools. We're on the street corner,
right.
just like in the corner, and it's talking about Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh. Like Yahweh.
Nobody cares.
No
No one cares.
Nobody even knows.
trembling.
Like nobody's trembling that.
But you said Jesus, he would have turned.
Right.
That Jesus, yeah.
Praise him.
But we're saying the actual name of the living God, and nobody even like flinches at that. And then Lord be like, oh, I'm gonna make my name known on the earth.
Yeah. What's going to happen?
Like that.
The men that-
What's
gonna
gonna
happen?
happen?
See, when you say Yahweh, lightning came down, boom, you powered up. Then they going, yo.
But then that's why we'll go to the faith too part. The faith that we have now, we have to deal with the faith part. You know what I'm saying? That's
Because
the
he's
cool
not
part.
actually manifesting his fear on us, but we're just fear of his name. for his namesake.
Yeah.
That's why we do what we do, because the Lord hasn't, I mean, he has done small things, but like, there's nothing been something significant, but like, this is why right now you should fear me.
Right.
But we fear him because of his word and through Yahweh Shah. And then that's when the Lord said, because you have kept the faith, you kept the faith in my name, you feared my name, then I'm gonna make you known. And I'm gonna make my name known upon the earth, why the world shall fear me.
Quick.
You got something you want to say?
Oh, and real quick, I got you. And that's why Yahushua said, I made thy name manifest amongst, unto the believers, right? So now if you say Yahweh and there was actually somebody who was a believer walking by, they're going to have the real effect. Oh, Yahweh, hey, Yahweh.
I know that name. Right. Yep.
Jeremiah 5:22. Fear ye not me, saith Yahweh. Will ye not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea by a perpetual decree?
It said, tremble at my presence. The Lord's presence is in everything. Because he just said, because I have placed the bounds of the sand of the sea. When you actually look at a beach, the fact that you see all of that water, and then there's a certain point where the water just stops and like, yo, I can't go past this. And like nothing's actually like, there's not a barrier there.
Right.
The water's just like, yo, I just can't go there.
always
It's always going, just like, no, I can't go there. The Lord said, I made the water. I made the water say, nah, don't go that far.
Bounds I cannot pass.
I got a bounds that I can't pass. Like, that's my presence. That's his presence. Like, and everything is Yahweh. But nobody fears that. He said, fear you not me? Like, look what I'm doing. I make sound come out of the sky. Like, sound is like, boom!
Light,
sound,
electricity in the sky.
in the sky.
Oh, he has a firmament that blocks the ocean, the water that's above from the water from touching
below.
us. Like
Damn,
what?
I didn't think of that.
And as hot, I was gonna say, as hot as the sun is, it's all these rays of fire coming down, but it's at a perfect point to not kill and just give life.
Except for Esau, he gets killed.
Yeah, right.
Every day.
Great, you say what? He's cursed from the earth.
Yep.
The ones of my curse.
Glitch.
You cursed from the earth.
Yo, how you curse from the earth that you're supposed to be ruling over the earth? So even the earth that you're supposed to be ruling over,
Don't
that's
like
cursed against you, man. It's cursed against you, so there's nothing you can do. Like it tells you in the book of Job, I believe the 14th chapter, the Lord said he's created the bounds that he cannot pass. That means your rulership is for a limited time. Your power is for a limited amount. You can't go past that time, man. That's you trying to, what you're trying to do right now is you're rebelling against what the Lord has already instituted for you to do. You're trying to say, no, I am the Most High. I'm going to be on the top. Now, this time, I'm going to create life. I'm going to destroy what the Creator has done. I'm going to tell the people that there is no Creator, and I'm going to be the God on the earth. That's impossible.
Right.
It's impossible. For you to be the Most High, for you to be a God on this earth, you got to be outside of the reality in which we're living in, which you are part of this reality, bro.
Yeah,
The
that's
Lord,
why he's trying to create an augmented reality.
there you go, exactly.
God of that
Right.
reality.
So he's trying to create his own world so he can control that. In order for you to control this world, you got to be outside of it.
Right.
You got to be outside of time, matter, all that stuff. The Heavenly Father is outside of all that. That's why he can determine what happens next and so on and so forth. You see? So Esau, you got nowhere else to
The
go.
Ancient of Days.
The Ancient of Days.
Everybody lives in a day.
Yeah.
Lord said, nah, I created your environment to live in. I created your time. I'm outside of that.
That's crazy.
Yo. You know? But
Yep. It says, will ye not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea by a perpetual decree, that it cannot pass?
Hey, it's a perpetual decree. That's everywhere you go. That's why you got beaches all throughout the earth. Because all of the water everywhere got the same order. Where there's sand at, you can't go past that. Wherever there's sand, that's where you stop. That's the order of the water.
Sure.
no matter how strong the waves might look,
Right.
No matter where it's at.
few feet outside, few yards out, by the time it gets over here to the land, it's gonna flow slow and then slow down and go right back into its place. That's insane, bro. That's insane. But that's all the creation of the Heavenly Father, all done by design, for a reason. And Esau studies all these reasons, and when you sit back and you actually go into it, the intricacies of these details, the only thing you can do is marvel. Like, wow, bro, you created all this, you did all this. The elements like fire, for example, how does fire work? Land, water, all these different things that we take for granted because it's always around us until it's not there anymore. Then you really start thinking about how important it is. But damn, Lord, you created all this and you created a human being to need these things that he has dominion over. Like how? Like I have power over this, but I still need it. Like, hey, that's why the Most High is so important, because he doesn't have need of us, but we need him. You see what I'm saying? Like without the Most High, we're nothing. But yet he doesn't really, he's created everything for us and says, here, have dominion over this. I'm gonna be having power over you. I'll give you everything you need, but you're gonna have dominion over this. You have power over this, but you still have, you need the things that you have power over. That's amazing. You see what I'm saying? Self-sustainable on its own, except for this devil. That's why Esau gotta go. You see? That's why he gotta go, man. And going back to what we were talking about earlier, about how he's created this fraudulent world, all this deception, all this bullshit. Esau, you're going fucking down, all right?
Right.
You're going down.
Right.
Your time is up and you're going down, all right?
Hey, that's why the scripture says sustainable, not scriptures, Esau is going with the sustainable development.
Right.
That whole 2030 agenda, sustainable meaning what? It sustains itself.
Yep.
The way the earth is supposed to be ran is it actually is alive, so it sustains itself.
Yep.
But Esau being the curse from the earth, he actually is destroying the earth. The things of the actual earth that sustains everything, because everything comes from the earth. Everything that life comes from the earth, so it actually is supposed to be literally a sustainable circle. But Esau is actually cutting the, like he's breaking that circle, and he's destroying everything. And that's why the scripture says you destroy him, which destroyed the earth. And if you destroy the earth, then you destroy life.
Right. If you didn't shorten the days, then shall no flesh be saved.
You literally destroy the actual the earth,
The fabric of the earth itself.
which will be life.
Yep. And we can't live
You
without
can't
that.
live.
They say now this devil's talking about from
Paradox.
global warming to global boiling, and they said that the oceans are being boiled at
forever
a
chemicals.
forever chemicals. Yeah, exactly. They got the oceans boiling up now. They're getting hotter than they've ever been before. I'm like, yo, you're gonna kill all the eco life,
Tell me,
bro.
hold on. The earth been on since Adam, all the way up until this nigga came up into power. Within this span of
Nobody
less than
fucked the earth
1,000
up.
years, all of a sudden the earth is in global boiling.
Yo, you don't fuck it up that.
Bruh,
Hey, you don't fuck it up that bad in this short amount of time.
that's crazy.
You got forever, forever. No, forever is a long time. You don't even know forever, nigga. You're like, we're gonna fucking shut up in your kingdom. Like, that's the pride of him. That's how you know, like, the way that we gotta renew the earth is not have to be from the divine.
Yeah.
Because Esau is saying, like, if anybody controlled the earth the way we did, they got to the height and power, they forever fucked it up. To where no technology here can ever fix what we did. There's no technology, no power can fix the shit that we did to the earth. And that's why the Lord said, like, yo, I'm gonna have to literally bring a not to cleanse it, bring the fire, heavenly fire, cleanse it, and then I'm gonna have a divine order on the earth in order to fix this shit, man. They say they got the space debris.
Yeah.
Nigga,
Yeah.
what? First of all, the waters, you fucked up the actual waters on the earth. You gonna fuck up the waters in the
Waters up in
heaven? You
heaven,
gonna
yeah.
fuck up the waters in the heaven? You know waters, you need water to live, nigga. Like, you trying to fuck up the actual, the Lord's house.
Yeah.
Like, you went outside of this mansion. You said, nah, I'm gonna fuck with that. Let me just go and put the space, the garbage in space.
Damn.
I just want to make a quick point. If I may make a quick point, I've seen this video on social media. This lady, she took rainwater. It was raining. She took the rainwater and then she put tap water. She had equal cups. She put she let it rain, fill up that cup, and she put tap water in the other cup. And she put some kind of device. I don't know what that shit was. I don't want to say it's a filter or whatever, but she put it in the rainwater and she put it in the tap water. And I forget how much time went by, but over the time, it was just like mad weird looking shit in the tap water, yo. It looked disgusting. Disgusting, like, yo, disgusting. And everybody like commented, yo, this shit looks crazy. Like, I'm talking about it was multicolored, it was lumpy, it was this, it was that, it was like some weird shit. I'm gonna show brothers that shit, cause like that shit really like, cause you know, there's a thing about tap water, like that's a major thing that's killing Jake. You know, that was the thing, like, you ain't can't afford no water, you gotta drink tap water.
And this guy, Eric Adams, talking about drink your tap water.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yo, but you know it's the spirit, right? Because the rainwater didn't look like the tap water.
Nah, it was stay clear.
So more like, I mean, obviously Esau claims he has like filtration systems for the tap water, but if you really think about it, the Lord got a natural filtration system because what they call the water cycle or whatever, where it goes through evaporation, you got runoff or whatever, then evaporation, and then it forms in the clouds, and then it comes back down again, right? So that's a natural filtration, you know, because that evaporation that goes up when the water comes back down, you know, liquid evaporates. So you have urine, you have all these things, but yet when it comes down as rainwater, it's still clean.
Ooh, and that's why he's putting the fucking barium, aluminum,
The chemtrails and stuff.
or all, you're putting that in the sky to fuck up the waters.
That's why when it rains,
Yo,
you have this
guy's
clear,
crazy.
smell. Like whenever it rains, because the water purifies the land.
Yeah, ozone gets released.
Ozone release, exactly. Especially when you wake up in the morning and you go to like a mountainous area, you get the purest form of oxygen. Why? Because overnight, what happens is during the daytime, you have all this energy, all this people, carbon dioxide, everything that goes on, and of course there's sunlight. So at night, the trees they've taken up all the sunlight, and they've soaked up the water and all the carbon and everything. So overnight they're processing it. So during the morning, the sun comes up again, they start releasing these things. So in the morning you get that fresh breeze, and then later on the sun starts beaming up and it starts getting warmer and warmer, and the air quality drops. You see, but in the morning time is when you get the purest form of air quality. And I was like, I was kind of like observing it, not really studying too much, but just observing how things really are. And I did it for like a month. And I was, checking when it rained, go outside after the morning, see how it is, and so on and so forth. And you can notice the difference. You feel the fresh air. Your body changes. You feel the difference. And then when you go down, the air gets a little cooler. When you go down towards the inner cities where there's more people, it's more densely populated, there's less trees, you can feel the air quality changing, man. So you got a lot more carbon dioxide surrounding people, and they gotta live off of that. All these people here, that's why there's so much sicknesses down here. You couple that with the food, the medication, all this poison and all that, the water like you mentioned, it's straight up death, man. And that's what they're pushing on you so-called jakes. You know what I'm saying? So we need an ethnic cleansing. You have to have an ethnic cleansing. Because like the elder was saying, this spraying chemtrails in the heavens is affecting the clouds. When it rains down, it's all poisons. You see what I'm saying? Nowadays, when it rains, I put on a hoodie so it doesn't touch my skin, because it seeps into your pores and it causes all these cancer and all these different things, man, over time. You see? Chemicals, metals, and so on and so forth. You got to detox from all this shit. What the fuck kind of life is this, man?
That's why you have a lot of children that's growing up with a lot of ailments now.
Autism.
Yeah. Like even their bone structure is not even like as dense. I was talking coming up here, I was like, even like my son, because the way our generation was the last generation we were saying that was actually out and playing, like on parks and shit. You don't really see kids doing that no more. And I was talking with my son, I would like race him, right? You would think like somebody that's younger, they would have more energy. I would race, we would run outside and race, and he'll keep running, and then he'll get tired to the point where you have to like actually sit down on the floor. So I need water. I'm like, yo, you 9 years old. It's like, I need water. I'm like, why is this happening? It's because the way that society life is, and like the actual the earth, because remember we're talking about the earth is being destroyed, we come from the earth, so like the actual humans are becoming weaker. Like children are becoming weaker, their bodies, their immunizations are all becoming weaker through the way that Esau is building society. And on top of that, he's putting all this death in the air and in the food and the water. So actual humans are not as strong as they were even in our. We're seeing it. Like even from our generation till the next generation, it's like, yo, y'all just mad frail. Like even these little young kids, they just mad. Nobody really got like muscle like meat on your bones. Like y'all know how to be little skaters, little punks, like mad skinny and shit. They're lanky. Like you don't got no real like meat. Like how you gonna defend yourself or anybody?
Right. I got a precept for you. This is Isaiah 40 and 30. It says, even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall.
There you go. Oh shit. Like that's literal, man. Like these little kids, man. They're like but it's not like I said, it's the actual, because it's the way that Esau is conditioned the earth. Like kids don't want to go outside and play. Everybody just tapped onto technology. They don't want to interact socially, and like the actual things that they're eating isn't nutrients to their bodies, so they're actually a little malnutritious. They're malnutritious without actually looking like they're malnutritious.
They're malnourished.
Malnourished. There you go. They're malnourished.
And that's why the scriptures say, menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. That's why you have a lot of these deformities with these children nowadays. Because of number one, the things that they're putting into their bodies. First off, when a woman is pregnant and she has a child, there are specific things that she should and should not do. But in today's society, that goes all out the window. They eating McDonald's, they smoking, some of them doing drugs, all of these different things. how do you think that's going to affect the child? The child is directly
Oh,
connected to
taking the juicy
taking the
tabs.
juice. Yep.
I have a testimony of those two things y'all just mentioned. I drive this lady every day, and she said her mother was pregnant with her. When her mother was pregnant with her, the whole time she drank alcohol every day, and she still drinks every day to this day. And then before she told me that, I was like, yo, this bitch is like always like bugging. And she's like really bugging. Now, initially it was a demon, ultimately, but it's like, yo, it's got to be an explanation as far as the flesh. So when she told me, she's like, yeah, when my mother was pregnant with me, she drunk every day. I was like, yo, that's why you always acting like you're drunk. Because like you said, if your mother was pregnant with you and she's stuffing down wine every day, what is that? That's the umbilical cord going right to your brain. And she said when she was born, that it was so much blood from her that wasn't supposed to be there. Like the blood, it was like, it's too much blood. That was like, yo, because that's just probably all that garbage she was eating. Or she was drinking. And it said she has learning disabilities, all that. She's permanently fucked. And I was like, yo, your mother's dead. Your mother like screwed you.
Lord put that vessel,
Yeah,
that spirit in
that
that
spirit,
type of vessel.
the spirit in that vessel, right?
But imagine how much wicked spirits are out now because everybody's fucked up. And like
Wine
these
spirit.
demons, like the women that having children now, their bodies just completely fucked up. Bringing forth monsters.
GMO foods.
GMOs, like the air we're breathing. So it's like, that's why you got so much wickedness on earth because nobody's actually living according to the law slacked.
The flesh is fucked up.
I know you said, yeah, precept.
Here's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 14 and verse 17. It says, it says, for look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. So going back to the point that brothers is making, what I'm saying, and also too, it's the philosophies, right? The philosophies are also making people weaker because I remember even at our age, you had a philosophy of being a young man. You had to be strong. You had to find out what are things that would make you stronger. That's just what it was. Mental strength, physical strength, spiritual strength, all these different things. You take herbs to keep you up and so on and so forth. Now, people don't even think of these things. Weakness has become the norm. Being weak, being sensitive, being effeminate is like a thing that everybody wants to be. It's like, oh, my feelings should be considered because of this. Nigga, we got a bigger problem to be worried about. You talking about your feelings?
Bro, the Lord got it so bad where he had men who represent strength are now women.
Yeah.
Like I went out with my eat yesterday and I was at a spot and there was an actual whole, first of all, I didn't see the one person. My girl, somebody passed by, she was like, my girl was like, I don't even know why men want to wear heels. I don't even know why men wear heels. I don't even like wearing heels. So there was a man who was wearing heels walking by. And I seen another spot, I'm like, yo, you see that thing right there? That's a guy. And the nigga had on a whole like jumpsuit when I wore like a spandex jumpsuit.
Oh,
Yeah, the spandex jumpsuit, one piece. With the hair, all that. I'm like, yo, that's a guy. I'm like, yo, this is like, but this is normal. Like nobody's looking at this thing like, yo, this is what the fuck is going on. Like, this feels actually like I'm in my element right now.
Right.
I'm in my vibe. And I'm like, yo, we think about when we read the scriptures like 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, we talk about the ancient men of old, right? To the Lord, that was only 4 days ago, 3 or 4 days ago. It's like, yo, you see what I did like in 3 or 4 days? Like, look how bad this shit gets. Look how bad this shit got underneath Esau. The bases of men.
Yeah, I saw a similar thing today. Probably the same nigga. Yo, I'm like, I stopped at a red light and it turned green, so I'm about to step and drive. And the nigga is so weird. He decides, oh, there's traffic. I'm gonna jump in the middle of traffic, so everybody has to stop to see me passing the street, bro. And he got the wig on, the hair, and brolic ass dude.
Oh, you saw the two dudes on our way.
Yeah, we saw 2 dudes on our. My man's got chest hair and everything with a black dress, walking with his man's with a little small dog.
Yeah, you seen the teacher that had the Z-cup prosthetic implants?
I ain't seen
Yo,
that.
Google that. Yo.
What is that?
There's a transformer teacher in high school
Oh.
that over the summer got Z-cups prosthetic implants.
Breast?
Z-cups.
Oh,
Probably like
cartoonish.
on the ground type shit.
Yeah. When you see this, and the school district said that we can't do anything about this because we don't discriminate against any creed, sexual orientation, or any. Yo, the nigga's nipple, whatever you want to call it, is literally protruding out. Like it's like 3D, like that shit come out. And this is what's teaching the children.
They spawning demons out here now.
This is what's teaching the children.
What the fuck?
That's wild.
That's a man.
Yeah, I seen that. There was a big controversy, and then he still had to let him teach.
And he still gotta let them teach. So this is what's actually teaching the children, like teaching children now. This is what society is becoming in this age. It's like, yo, you want to bring children into this? So now you think about, all right, well, the elect men, some men do got children, and I'm more fearful. That's why the Lord said, like, woe is to you that got children. I'm more fearful of my child than like a brother that don't got children. Like, yo, because like having children is supposed to be a blessing. So brothers do get the feeling like, yo, man, I don't got no seed. But then you look at the earth, and you're like, I don't want to bring no seed. I feel more blessed not having children here than to have children here. And it's like, yo, dude, my child grows up getting taught by this,
Right. And you can't even do
and I
nothing.
can't even do nothing. Because now they got this whole thing where children, what we call it, gender affirming. So like the states now, if your child wants to go and be called like you got a boy, your child wants to be called a girl, they have to be called by those pronouns, and the actual schools don't have to tell your parents that they're basically changing up when they go to school.
So you just gonna be at home, your son
You
gonna
won't even
come as a
know.
daughter.
No, you're gonna be at home. It's gonna be a daughter at school, and at home it's gonna be your son. And you won't even know because there's this laws to protect the children from their sexual affiliation preference.
Oh, wait a hold. Excuse me. You said that so if your son, you have a son, and he want to be switching, dressing like a girl, he can go to school. Basically, he's like living two
double
lives.
Yeah, and the school doesn't have to inform the parent that your child is now a girl at school.
Damn.
And remember, that's where your child spends most of the days at.
Yep.
Most of the things that you well, I remember more being in school growing up than being with my parents.
Right.
So that's their life. That's what life is, and they're actually allowing that. They're actually promoting it. They got councils, they got little groups, school groups, the switchers, like all these different things. You got councilmen, you got senators, you got all these people that are now actually transformers that are making laws. Like this is life. This is the type of actual life that Esau has created. This is why this has to be the last generation.
This is it. That's why they call them Gen Z, and then the next generation after they call them Gen Alpha. I've been hearing this shit. I'm like, Gen Alpha where? Gen Alpha where? You going to
I think it was Alpha Zeta.
Alpha
I think
Zeta?
they combined it. The beginning and ending. And he calls what? He said I should be your this is salvation. He puts himself up as saving the earth. Remember, that's what the whole reset is all about. So he's saving the earth by creating this, and he's calling it the beginning and ending.
This is it. This is it. Things are car you guys like.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, and the wicked thing about Esau is now they're making the process of homeschooling your children even harder with the paperwork, and now you have to designate a certain area of your home to basically as a school. You know, a lot of Jake, we coming up poor, little ass apartment. You know what I'm
You
saying?
just be in the kitchen on the table. That's where you did your work at.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that's all done by design because they want to take away the supervision of the parents.
Right.
You know, and I remember this back in like 2015. They were saying it that very soon the government is going to be watching over your kids.
When does he started that? When this word actually spread out. That's when he's actually like, yo, nah, I don't know.
Yeah, they go on defense.
Because what are we going to teach our kids? Like, I was telling my brothers, like, yo, if my son was with me all the time, he wouldn't even know what a Christmas is. He wouldn't even know what the things like. None of these things. He wouldn't know what that is. And he wouldn't miss it because he never grew up that way. Only reason why he now thinks about it because he grew up in that type of environment. So it's like the Lord has it where the actual truth is out, and then we can't actually teach it unto our children, which is in the law. We're supposed to the rising up to the sun, to going down, write it on the doorpost. Like you're supposed to actually have conversations about Yahweh Shema Shai with your children. And like none of that actually sit down and teach them, but eventually they're a sponge. So that's what they're just gonna know. Oh, like Yahweh Shema. Like remember, we grew up just knowing Jesus because that's what we grew up with. So imagine our children's growing up, oh Yahweh, another Heavenly Father Yahweh.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Yahweh's my father. Like that's it. They just know that the Lord is just normal to them. But he's all like, oh, so that we start passing that information down, that'll be problematic to Esau. So he created this whole shit where now you can't even be in life where you can't be around your children. I'm gonna make life so hard that you gotta actually bring your children to our institutions, and then we're gonna teach them the worst of the worst.
Right. During their most formative years.
Sponges.
Where they could be sponges. They learn everything. You got kids now. You got this little 5-year-old talking about he lets his mom paint his fingernails and his toenails. You know? But you know, again, you got all these things happening, and the men of the Lord come out and talk about it, and we're looked at as a hate group and all these different things. Again, Esau is just changing he's basically creating a new language, you know, which is what they do to suppress a society. Because remember, in all things, English is a secondary bastard language. In every time we read, there's a reason why there's an emphasis on going back to the Greek and the Hebrew and so on and so forth, because you have in the English, you have primary meanings and you have secondary meanings of words. So when we read it, we're telling you the primary meaning originally this word means this. Esau is saying, no, listen, we have a secondary meaning, and that's really what the meaning is. That's not true. That's not true. Okay, that's actually false. That's why we're bringing back everything. We're bringing you back into remembrance. You know, you got to be broken out of what you know as a norm now in order to understand how things really are supposed to be. You see, now you got to, okay, oh shit, things are being done differently in the Eastern Hemisphere till today. You got to convert that from Western mindset to Eastern mindset. And then you got to take it up another level and go into the scriptures and go based on what the scriptures are saying. Sometimes that's too hard for people to do. But through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, if you're of the elect, it's a one-time click and you got it. You see?
I got a quick precept. You talk about the language. Genesis 11 verse 1, it says the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And when you go into that word language, it says through the idea of termination or language. It says termination. Okay. It says the language of speech, the binding, the border. I thought it said determination, but it says through the idea of termination. But it just made me think of like, in order for you to be like of one language, also that's like you being of one mind, like you having the same like binding idea to do something. And now what Esau is trying to do through his NGOs is all create one type of idea on the earth. The Great Reset is going to be the idea of basically serving the beast. We want to make everything right. That's why you have this whole push of like global of the LBG community. It's like a global push, right? Everybody, he's trying to get everybody to accept that. That's why the whole thing in Uganda and Nigeria became such a thing, a big deal. You got this idea of like the world, the way that the system is being ran, the safe and effective, right? Moving to electricity, right? Electrical devices, going away from fossil fuels. All that is this idea of ultimately going to that work for rocket. And that's how he's going to push it. All right, this is going to be the idea that's on the earth. This is going to be salvation. This is going to be God. You're going to get rid of the Bible, the idea of fearing the Lord, the one and living God, and this is what you're going to fear. This is the rules that you're going to live under.
Right. That's why the Most High is going to destroy the act.
Jeremiah 51:30. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Their might have failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. Yeah, hey, the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. The other militaries of the world are laughing at America, man. You got Transformers. You got a bunch of effeminate weirdos. You got people that dye their hair pink and neon blue. You know, and this is what you call a military. That's why the Russians are laughing at your ass, man. The other nations are laughing at your ass. That's why they're coming together with the BRICS, because they're rejecting the wine that you keep pushing and forcing the nations to drink. They're rejecting that wine. So now your women, your men are becoming as women, you know, whether they actually put on a wig or they actually have an effeminate mannerism about themselves. You know, this is just all a sign of America, Babylon the Great's decline, man.
You know what's funny, because what was that in the First World War? John, he saw the women, he said he had hair like women, and they wore that little thing, right? But like now Esau actually created to where like they actually have hair like women. Like you got Transformers. I think the brother seen that video where they was using a cross-dresser to recruit in the Navy.
Yes.
Like that, they were using a cross-dresser to recruit into the military, and like you could be yourself here.
Drag.
Yeah, drag. Yeah, there you go, drag. So that's going to be your women. That's going to be your soldiers. So it's like now the vision that John saw
Esau wouldn't even take it a step further. It's like, oh, nah, we put the hats on with the hair. Now we're going to actually have hair. And that's why, like, these other nations see Esau, see America, like, yo, you ain't shit. You ain't shit.
See, even back as like the Romans, for example, they also had something similar, but theirs at least look manly. Like the Spartans, they would have the thing on the top, but they look like men going to war. This thing came back and just revolutionized the game.
Yo, that's something else I was thinking about. This whole new phase where men are just wearing nail paint on their hands. Bro, the #1 recruit for next year in football, quarterback Caleb, his name is Caleb Williams. I seen a Photoshop, like a picture of him, and he had his nails painted. And I'm like, yo, but he didn't look. The crazy part is, and this is where like shit is just like weird, like actually weird. He looked like a regular man, right? Like he had facial hair. Like he didn't look like he was effeminate, but he just had his nails painted. And I'm like, they're getting to the point where they're just like merging the sexes.
Yeah.
It was like a man can look manly but have feminine qualities, like nails and fucking, and then a woman can be feminine but then black hair.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I like men. Like,
That's
bad voice.
right, and that's
it like
satanic.
deep, yeah. Like the sexy reds. Like that's a
Oh,
nigga.
yeah,
Sukata,
yeah,
that's a nigga.
She got a
Definitely.
masculine.
Yeah, that's a nigga.
Definitely. Yeah.
But like people look at that like, oh, that's a sexy girl.
Oh, she really a nigga?
No, that's a, she not really a nigga, she a nigga.
Oh.
Like,
I ain't know shit.
but
I'm
even
about
if
to
she's
say-
not actual female, but I'm saying, let's say I mean male, but let's say she's actually a female. That's a nigga. Like that's what a nigga
That's a
would look like.
masculine female.
Yeah, like that's what a nigga would look like. You talking about my pussy paint?
Oh,
Oh,
God, bro.
you got one?
I just found out Lady Gaga's a nigga. I just found that shit about. Yeah, Lady Gaga's a dude, bro. Like it's been a thing since '09 when that nigga came out. It's been a thing. Yeah. But see, but that goes to show you that they're bringing out the God that they worship, which is the Baphomet. Baphomet is an androgynous spirit. That's where you get all this concept of gender neutral, gender fluid, all that bullshit, man. That's why they're teaching that to the kids.
Wait,
And guess what?
You say male and female created
Yeah.
them. And then this guy is like gender fluid.
I
created
am
them.
God, and there's nothing else.
Yeah.
You know, and then these athletes, you know, what's happening is they push these things on them to push to the youth. Because the youth are watching these things and they make it seem like it's a fashion statement.
Right.
You know, like, oh, you know, if you, like LeBron James got a purse like a female, and you get up and hold that purse like a female with his hands slanted,
With his
wrist,
head up,
and broke wrist nigga walking around like a brat, like a female that you just said some shit you don't like, so now she mad. She get up and walk away. Like, nigga, stop, bro. You a grown ass man. Stop pushing that type of shit. When are the men gonna stand up and fight against this type of shit?
Westbrook or somebody that
Wearing
wears
dresses, Ibaka wearing dresses, grown ass, brolic ass nigga, bro. But guess what? That's what you. It's almost like a rite of passage.
like a modern day buck breaking.
Buck breaking, exactly. What's this guy? Michael
B. Jordan?
B. Jordan. Him. That after he did that the last movie he did with the other guy, I forgot the other guy's name. They did a ritual. And they show you that they were all grabbing each other, hanging out. It's like, oh, it's a brotherly love thing. That ain't no brotherly love, man. It's a sodomite relationship that you guys are doing over there, man. In order to be on the mainstream like that, you gotta allow. You gotta do these things. It's a rite of passage. If you want to be in the upper echelon of politics, you gotta be down low with not just the men of men. You gotta do pederasty. That's part of the fucking plan. The rabbis, that's what they teach them. All right, that white thing vocab don't come against that. When you go into these theologian schools, it's part of their curriculum. They got to teach you about pederasty, about sleeping with kids. You know what I'm saying? All this pedo shit is all part of the plan, man. Why do you think it's all coming out?
The Amalek priests, they do what to the circumcision of the baby?
Yeah,
And that's known. Yeah, they had that in a Law and Order episode. That's something that's known that's done amongst the Orthodox Amalekites, man. And they actually have that publicized, which is why, how do you know why they got so much power in earth? No other nation does something like that. Publicly, like, give us the penises. Like, oh. Yeah. But they're your leaders, right? They're the non-elected officials.
And it's them that have to come up with these laws for everybody to fall in line.
Right. Yep.
If you speak against it, you're anti this, anti that. That whole anti-whatever shit came out to protect so-called JJ, who was engaging in these kind of activities. And people are gonna what? Speak against it. So they said, oh, if you do that, we're gonna label you an anti this and anti that. That's just a way to stop you from conversation. But guess what? That's not gonna stop us.
Right.
Okay? Your labels and your terms and all that, guess what? One thing you can never say is what we're saying isn't true. Because we're speaking the truth. You can label it whatever the hell you want. Guess what? You do that just to deter the unbelievers from believing the truth anyway. It's all a stumbling block.
why they
But
call
we're
it
not just gonna
disinformation.
stumble. Misinformation.
Or disinformation.
Yeah.
I got a quick precept. This is Hebrews chapter 12.
Somebody else has something.
No.
All right, this is Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16. It says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Right? So even the Apostle Paul, making reference back to Esau, referred to him as a fornicator or profane person. Now, we know what a fornicator is, right? A fornicator, in a physical sense, fornication is basically unlawful, sex. And
In the Greek is porneo.
right? And then you have the spiritual sense, right? Which is an idolater and so on and so forth. Now, if you look at the man Esau himself, what we know about him is, he was a cunning hunter, X, Y, and Z, right? But why is Paul referring to Esau, which he ain't really just referring to the man, he's referring to his nation, because the scriptures say Esau is Edom, okay? So it's him and his whole line. And of course the Apostle Paul would know, because the Yahushua told him. So he was not only learning the scriptures, but learning the spirit as well. That's why when he gave this advice, right, in certain of these books there, his writings, he said, look, these ain't commandments in the law, but it would behoove you to take heed to this. It's just like your house. I am the law. That's why he said, yeah, I'm not. That's why when they asked him about the Sabbath, he said, what do you mean? He pressed it. On the Sabbath. He's the house. That's why the Apostle Paul called Esau a fornicator and profane person. And now you see what? Profane people outside the temple. Right? And that's Esau. Esau is the number one motherfucker that's outside the temple, because there's a book that I'm reading. They go into the scriptures and they do the opposite of that. They'll say, oh, well, you said you can't live with somebody of mankind. Well, you're not a man until you're 12 years old. So until you become 12 years old, you're not really a man. So this law don't apply to you. We can do this to you then. It's like, the intricate parts of the law, they'll go into, okay, well, it says mankind. So, well, that's not mankind yet. So we could live with you. As early as the age of 3 years old, man. That's what they do. That's what they teach. All right? And we can prove that. If you want to really go there, we could go there. But that's in the movie Nefarious. The demon was basically he was speaking like in the sense of Esau, that this is they do things that are against him. Right. And in order to do that, they come after the people, to try and anger him or try and get back at him. Like you were saying, but it says he was without the temple. Now you don't know what happened the last time an Edomite tried to run up in that temple. This guy, Ptolemy the fourth. He tried to run up in that temple. Mosai struck his ass with some seizure like symptom. Yeah, they took this, they carried this nigga out, and now he got mad and started persecuting the Israelites up there in Egypt. But it goes to show you this guy, like Biden. This. But you know what? At the end of the day, as much as we hate Esau, we really glorify the Lord every time we speak about the despicable aspect of this devil, because it just goes to show you how magnificent the Lord to create. When he said that this guy is the wicked, this is why he said he's the wicked, because he made him to be the wicked. So it goes to show you the extent of the power of the Lord. So really, we ain't even crediting Esau, we crediting the Lord, saying, damn Lord, you made this guy the worst of the worst. Satan even looks at this guy like, damn, you a demon, nigga. I was made to be the king of the left-hand side, but you're just a demon, nigga.
Because Satan is in order with Yahweh Shem Shai. Esau goes against the order of Yahweh Shem Shai. So Satan is technically, he was made to go against Yahweh Shem Shai. But even that's a scary thing. Like, nigga, you were created to go against the Creator himself? That's wow. You see? That's why you got that kind of pride. That's why
the Lord's so bad.
You got it.
But he was so bad that he created Satan to literally go against his order on the left hand side, but it's his order. But he gave Satan immortality. So he's like, I'm not gonna kill you. But you're like your sons, like your children, these niggas that's gonna afflict my sons, I'm gonna kill them niggas. That's why it's like, yo, Esau, like, you're hated. Like, even Satan is adverse, but like he's not even hated, because like he will still be
You say he's an angel, but it's like Esau, your actual like your legacy would be gone. They're like it's gonna be gone. But that's like the Lord showing like I actually hate you. You're out of existence.
You know, it's crazy, right? It's like, if you really think about like what's really the purpose of all this, it's really for the amusement of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. It's for his pleasure. Because it tells you that in Revelation 4 and 11, water. But if you sit back and ask yourself, what's the purpose of all of this? It's because the Most High said, I wanted to create the wicked, I wanted to create the righteous, and I wanted this to happen. And then after that, I'm going to take you out to the kingdom. You'll have a good old time. You're like, damn. Yo, that's crazy.
Who can resist my will?
Who can resist his will? That's scary, man.
Revelation 4, verse 10. And the 4 and 20 elders fell down before him that sat on the throne and worshipped him that liveth forever and ever, and cast their crowns before the throne, saying, Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power.
So the Lord God constantly got angels that are up there whose jobs it is to worship him in his presence.
Got crowns on their heads.
And they cast it
They're
down.
just like, yo,
Square
for thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created.
For the Lord's pleasure. Angels, Yahushua, us, like the whole concept of the scriptures. This comes from the mind of the Lord.
That's
the
a
Lord,
movie.
It is the movie. That's it.
And when you have a movie, and where does it start from? An idea.
Yeah.
It's an idea. That's why you have the writer. That's what he says, like, oh, you can see the screen of the writer, the creator, the producer.
Yeah.
The Lord literally is all that. Like, yo, this is my movie. Life is actually a idea of the Lord. Life is an idea of the Lord.
Isn't it said? Isn't it said that Yahushua said, "I'm the author and finisher of your faith"?
Right.
So like,
Author and finisher, yes.
author and finisher of your faith. So like that is all directly from Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. All of what we have, the mindset, your thoughts. Because you gotta think about, yo, what gives you a thought? I'm gonna ask my earth father, like, yo, so what gives you a thought? He said some bullshit, but it's like, yo, no, what gives you a thought? Like, you have a thought in your mind. The Lord said, I work on the minds of the kings.
Right.
What do you think about the regular peons of people? Everything is the Lord. The Lord said all the earth is mine. All substance, all matter, all material comes from him, heaven, one creator. The Lord said there's no other God. Everything aligns with the scriptures, the time of Noah. Nobody has history prior to that. There was no man. He killed everyone. The Lord did that, and then the Lord delivered Israel out of Egypt and said, this is when you became my people. This when the covenant was happened.
He made it a law.
Yeah, made it.
How I said the law that cannot be broken.
Yeah.
So like, because he gave it as a promise to Abraham, then he confirmed it as an oath to Isaac, and then he actually made it like written, like on the earth,
right,
boom.
Document.
That's why you now will be called sons of God, Yasharala. There's no other nation on the earth that can call Yasharala. Because now I'm actually making a law where I'm going to show all this creation who I am, and I'm going to do it through y'all.
I am.
And that's actually the love of God. Then I said, beloved, what manner of love the Lord, the Father has bestowed upon us. Like, out of all this creation, you're like, you know what? I'm going to actually make my seed. I'm going to make my image. I'm going to show the idea of what I've created, all this, everything that got breath. I'm going to show myself through you to everything else. That's how they're going to know that there is a God.
Dissecting a main character.
Yeah.
I got
You got
the
something?
that you had called for.
1 John 3:1. Behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God.
Now you got to think about that. What manner of love? Now we're not talking about like, you think about love like, okay, like your girl loves you, your mom loves you, but like you got to think about the heightened level of love that actually Heavenly Father loves Israel. This seed line, like, yo, I'm gonna make my image. I'm gonna show myself through these people, through this seed. Out of all the seeds, all the creation that I'm created, you're going to know, existence is going to know that there's a God because of what I'm going to do for you guys.
Hey, that goes to show you the kind of love Yahweh Shai has for Israel. Because remember, just like the Heavenly Father, He made us in His image and likeness. A man's love is what? It's sacrificial, and a woman's love is what? Circumstantial, right? A man's love is sacrificial. Yahweh Shai was that sacrifice of love for the Israelites. Like, I'm gonna sacrifice my beloved son because of how much love I have for you. And that's how we are. As men, you sacrifice the clothes on your back for your child or for your woman or whatever. But for a woman, her love is circumstantial. Once the feeling you giving her stops, she stops loving you. and she moves on. And it's like you could sit there, cry, try to reason, she doesn't care because that feeling is gone. But for a man, that feeling doesn't go. You as long as you love something, you sacrifice for that thing. That's just how we're built. Same way with the Heavenly Father. So we are made in the image of our Father. So when it comes to sacrificing for something you love, we get it because He made us as He is. You see, and we saw the sacrifice that Yahushua went through, putting His life on the line. That's how much love He has for His brother. That's why He said, "There's no greater love." I think.
I got
He said,
it.
yeah.
I got it.
Right. There's no greater love than to put your life on the line for your brother. You see, that's what you got. There you go, bring it out.
John 15 and I'm gonna start at 12. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. Greater love have no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends if ye do whatsoever I command you.
You got to think about it, because people love saying John 3:16, right? They said, for God so loved the world, right? That He gave His only begotten. So you think about, this is actually Yahushua. That's why John said it. Behold the Lamb of God, right? Like, remember, what does Yahweh love the most? Purity, righteousness, completeness. Everything but being holy, for I am holy, right? So when you think about what is the most holiest thing, something that has never committed a sin on the earth. Because remember, all flesh is subject to sin. So the most separated thing from that would be the most unblemished human, which was Yahushua. He created the Lord said, I love you so much that this perfect thing, I'm going to kill it for you. I'm going to get rid of the most perfect thing for you just so that you can be brought back to me. This is the only thing on the earth that actually represented Yahweh. Remember, perfect. I come to do my Father's will. The only thing that actually was created on the earth that actually represented Yahweh. The image, me and my Father are one. The Lord said, I'm going to actually kill this for you.
Damn.
And bring it so you can be brought back to me. By the worst, by this devil. By the thing I hate. I'm going to kill this for you. I'm going to kill this lamb for you to bring you back to me. That's the love that the Most High has for Israel. And that's what these heathens, that's what Esau don't want us to remember. That is the actual good news. That the actual God of life loves us. And He's going to bring us back and to be His God again. We should be His people. And then what? And then what? What was that, Romans the 8th chapter, 24, you get that? Where He said that He gave up His Son. How much freely shall He give unto us? You got to think about, like, this is God's Son. How many of us, I got a son. And I can't even lie and say, like, yo, I'll sacrifice my son for you. Like, I love y'all, but I can't really think about that, yeah, I'll kill my son for you.
Especially if you wrong me. Like,
Right.
Yeah, you wronged me so much. Now I'm gonna want you back so bad that I'm gonna sacrifice my son to get us to come back on the same terms again. Like what?
And that's why he called Abraham the flame. Because Abraham was willing to do that.
Yeah, he symbolized what the Lord was going to do.
Oh, the similitude.
Yeah. That's crazy. Nice shot.
Now, I know I got the what you said. I wanted to bring up what we talked about real quick. Second Esdras chapter 5. The point's in 33, but I'm gonna start at 32. No, 31. Excuse me. And it says, now when I had spoken these words, the angel that came to me the night afore was sent unto me, and said unto me, hear me, and I will instruct thee. Hearken to the thing that I say, and I shall tell thee more. And I said, speak on, my Lord. Then said he unto me, thou art sore troubled in mind for Israel's sake. Lovest thou that people better than he that made them? Straight laced. Who could love Israel more than Yahweh Bashim Yahushai? That's why he did that, man. Yahweh, he did that with Yahushai and then put us back on. Because at the end of the day, Yahushai already got back to immortality. He got back with the Father. This is what's manifesting now is the joint heirship. That's what's coming. That's what Esau's scared of. He's scared of Yahushua and his people because that's the one that he hates and he wronged. When the Lord was on the scene, he never really talked about Esau like that. That's when he coming now to get the action. It's the actions. Everybody talk about active in New York. They say you set motion. Well, Yahushua is setting the motion. Yeah, well, Yahweh is who Yahushua is setting the motion. Straight up. And he said, who could love him more than that made them, man? That's plain. But I'll have what you asked for, brother. Oh, you got it?
Yeah, it's Romans 8, right?
Yeah, 24. You got it? Okay.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 24. It says, "For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why doth he yet hope for?"
That's right. Hey, and when you read about faith, that's what the Lord required. That's what the Lord ultimately required of Israel, is to believe. Believe on Him. Believe on His name. Just the name of the Lord alone should cause you to move. That's how dreadful. That's how powerful He is. That when people's like, "Oh, your name preceded you." Like that's how the Lord, like this. I'm supposed to be. Lord is supposed to be the definition of my name preceding me. That's how much his power is. That His glory is just in His name. Hallowed be Thy name. So keep going. And that's what we hope on, right? That's where our hope is on, that the name, the Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, will deliver us. We don't have any, like, I think Peter said, if you loved Him and have not yet seen Him, we don't even know what He's going to appear like. We don't even know what He's going to look like. How are you going to save us? Like, what are you going to look like? We can't even say, like, okay, your chariot going to be like this. Like, yeah, He coming like this. Or He going to look like this. Like, we got certain ideas based off of the description. But like we don't even know what our actual Savior looks like. We just know His name. Right. We're like, yeah, He's going to save us. We're like, trust in my name. That's the salvation there should be known on the name, given among men. Because when you read the scriptures about like conquerors, we don't know them, but we don't know Alexander the Greek, but we know his name. Right. And that's what his name was carried on through his kingdom, through his seed. That's why in Psalms 72 it says, "What thy name shall endure as long as the sun." The name of Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, is going to be everlasting, because that's what's going to be from the time of the deliverance until eternity. That's what everybody's going to magnify. They're going to know, oh, it was Yahweh Shai that did this. He was the deliverer. He was the one that set up this kingdom. This is His kingdom.
You can only imagine what it's like to have the world calling Yahweh Shai. Like, we're so used to having to explain anytime you talk about Yahweh Shai to somebody that's without. But to hear them actually say like, Yahweh Shai like it's normal, it's going to be
Wow.
yeah, it's going to be crazy.
And now the beautiful thing is about the elect, starting with the elect, the whole kingdom, the house of Israel, that's going to be in you.
Yeah.
But the other nations, they don't have to get taught that.
Yep.
And how do people get taught? Mainly is through what? Punishment, pain. That's what teaches you the most.
That's right.
And if the Lord wants to keep His name on the earth, solidified it to where it's never removed, just imagine how much pain got to be put in the earth to the people that's going to actually know that, to where it's like, oh, you're going to be feared into actually teaching and knowing the name. To the point where you're going to teach that to your children. And then they're going to teach that to their children. Like, it's going to be a constant fear. That's why He said His name should be dreadful among the heathen. It's going to be dread. Like, when the heathen hear Yahweh Shai, that's going to be a fearful thing to them. Oh, I know what that comes with.
The horns head. What?
I know what Yahweh. Oh, no. Don't do that, Yahweh. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yahweh Shai. Oh, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Oh, so I don't want to know. But remember, they're still in the flesh, so they're still going to be subject to the sin. So they're going to go off, and then they're going to feel. Yeah, then we're going to be His representatives. So when they see us, they're going to see the Father. Oh, you ate what?
Up in your house too.
Oh.
Well.
So
It's going to be brutal,
man.
because
you go ham? Oh.
The law being in the earth.
you going ham?
You go ham? Oh, ham is that?
Ham having ham?
It's like everything, and that's where the curses will be upon you. Because remember, the curses was for us to remind us not to go off.
Right. That's
why He said, why should I be stricken anymore? You should revolt. You're getting cursed and scourges for a minute. But Israel just they roll with the they roll with the punches. They actually back swimming in the punch. Like, yeah, we love this. That's why I said, you're a homeboy slave? Like, that's how far you felt. Like, you actually in love with my punishment. I just gotta kill you. I'm gonna burn you up. Because like that's how sick y'all are. But like for the heathens, their curse is gonna be them not being able, just like our curse from us, them not being keeping the law. Them not following the ways of the Lord. But the Lord said, what? I'm gonna give it to you double. I did this, you did this unto us in love. He said the heathens are nothing.
He said he
There's
said
nothing.
Like,
Spittle.
it's a spittle. There you go.
Yeah.
So spittle, we're not gonna be looking at you like, oh, that's a life I just took. You gonna know if you get your head bashed in.
You're not a god.
You're
So
not a
how can
god.
we look at you as
No.
anything else?
No, you're a heathen. You're a heathen.
Gentile.
Yeah, like we look at Moabites today, and they're so insignificant that you see a Moabite dogging on some frog or some shit. You just look at him like, yo, this is disgusting. We're gonna have to correct all that shit. In our kingdom, the earth is going to be perfect. That means if you're not on board, you getting your shit cooked, and that's gonna be without remedy. No, so you gonna be on board or you gonna be on board. That's just what it is. And guess what? When the Lord comes back and He makes that statement, America's gonna be the first statement He makes. And it's going to vibrate throughout the whole entire earth. The whole vibration will change.
They're gonna try to make peace with the Lord. But I don't want peace. I don't want peace. They go right there. Oh, like what's that movie where the chariot just like pulls up mad slow and then all of a sudden the laser beam just comes
was that,
down.
Independence Day?
Where they destroy like a tall ass
Yeah,
building
yeah,
and some shit.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
it's-
a good
Yep.
House.
First one, yep.
That's gonna be.
That's
a
why he
staple.
said like, what is that, 2nd Ezra 6? And I also got, no, 2nd Ezra 13, but I got that 2nd Ezra 6, where it says, when he's turned his countenance.
Oh,
Yeah,
turn-
yeah.
Like, you know, like, he's not coming for any type of like resolution.
Right.
Like, she's not trying to resolve a problem. He said, it's like, no, I have a problem. I'm gonna appease it. I'm gonna fix my problem.
Yep.
You can't actually tell the Lord or like try to
Reason
negotiate.
with him.
There's no negotiation with that's what he said in righteousness. Do I come and judge and make war? If anyone, nobody else is fighting for righteousness.
Right,
So he is the
right,
king of righteousness.
right,
So it's like, all right,
right,
y'all not fighting me because y'all want to be right.
Right.
If y'all want to be right, y'all be with me.
Right. Exactly.
So that obviously means that y'all wrong.
I will not meet thee as a man.
All right.
2nd Ezra 6, verse 56, which you quoted. As for the other people, I'm starting at 55. It says, all this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou hast made us the world for our sake. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. Oh, now, Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are now given into their hands. If the world now be for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? This is a literal conversation that a son is having with a father. Like, yo, you gave me all this, but you didn't. But now you gave it to these heathen that you don't even you call her nothing. Said they're like spit. How long are you gonna let them like rule over us? That's a relationship that we have with our God. Our God is the only. That's why Scripture says the only living God. That's very significant because there's I think Paul said there's many lords and gods, but there's no living God.
Yes.
And the only living God is our Father. And He has put us in the position of being this low underneath these heathens. And this whole world is supposed to be for our pleasure. Our pleasure. But we fell off. But through Yahushua, we get it back.
Hey, I think real quick, I got you.
I appreciate
I think
that.
that the point you made a point some time ago about the time period that we're living in, right? That's why Esau calls it a common era, because even the Lord told Peter, call nothing common or clean. When you go into the word common, it basically means that it's a norm. It's average. It's not above and beyond. It's basically outside the temple, right? And all these heathens get to rule except for Israel. That's why the Lord told Ezra that this world for now is for many, but the world to come is for a few.
Yep.
Right? And it starts with the elect, the 144,000. Those are really the ones that are left here who see this place as what it is, a hellhole, a shithole that leads destruction. You see? So that common era is what? And the time after Yahushua's birth, which is what? AD, which we know it as the year of our Lord, Anno Domini, but Esau calls it common era, CE. Why doesn't he say AD? Because they don't believe in the Heavenly Father, right? The JJs don't believe Yahushua came back already, right? They don't even believe in the concept of Yahushua. You see what I'm saying? They don't believe in the Heavenly Father. They believe in the fucking Talmud, all right? But the common era means that we're in a time of our era where all these other nations got to rule, right? You go the Babylonians, the Assyrians, the Greeks, the Romans, the Persians, the Medes, all these different nations, the Egyptians, they all got to rule. Those are commoners, okay? When the kingdom, the kingdom that's made for a few, we're gonna be at the top. It's not gonna be known as a common era. is going to be known as the kingdom of the Lord, the kingdom of Israel.
And you
All
know
right?
what's so deep about that? Because life, I think we talked about this before, time is actually predicated on Yahweh Shah.
Yep. Yep.
And that's deep because it's like we're going to know forever from Yahweh Shah's when he came until eternity. We're going to know, okay, this is when it started, and then this is how it's like the earth knows it's 2023. Why? Why is it 2023? From what? Like, what's the standard of 2023? And Esau, even though you got like the Chinese New Year and all that, they actually eat like in China. They mainly go off of the Western year. You go to China, they ask you what year it is. They're not gonna say, oh, it's 20 whatever China. They're gonna say like 2023 because Esau is the one who throughout the earth put this lifestyle to change it. Well, not change the time, but his time period is what earth is based on. But that really starts with Yahweh Shah. Because from that time period, that's what Esau is coming from. It's called, at this point, so now this is like basically the time of our end. And the Lord allowed that for us. So we can know like this is when Yahweh Shah came and did this. This is the point, the beginning, boom. And then the end of this age.
That's why a lot of people say 2023, the year of our Lord.
The year of our Lord. Right?
By just acknowledging the date, you have to acknowledge Yahweh Shah.
And it's funny because I feel thinking like Edomites, when they think about the Lord, they think about like killing him. Because like everybody talk about the Lord's death, right? But it's like, remember, he said that not only did he die, but he rose. Him rising was significant, but it was more significant, I feel like, than the death part. Because if he just died and that was it, then we would have no actual hope. Yeah, that's why the resurrection of Yahweh Shai is so important.
Immortality.
It's like, oh, he was the first to get back to being immortal. Now we're sons of God. Oh, he was the first to die and live forever now. So that's what we're looking at.
Revelation 1:18.
Behold, I am he that was dead and was alive. No, him that was living died, and behold, I live forevermore.
I'm here that day. I'm dead and I'm alive. Yeah, man. Amen.
Amen. The brother has a
And that's why Yahweh Shah, he defeated death because he was resurrected and back.
Right. Yep. And that's the actual gospel. The gospel is the resurrection of life.
You got it. Isaiah 25:8, he will swallow up death in victory, and the Lord Yahweh will wipe away tears from off all faces.
Right.
And the rebuke of his people shall he take away from off all the earth. For Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh shall have spoken it.
Hold up.
Hey, swallow up death in victory. He conquered death. He entered into immortality once again, and that's the promise, the joint inheritance for those that are faithful unto him, man. So, hey, man, what could be better than that? People will say, I don't want to live forever, man, but you want to live, and what is this? What do you call this shit here? This is not even life. You don't even know what life is. But you got the nerve to say, oh, I don't want to live forever, but you never even heard what it is to live.
Well,
you never even
I wouldn't want
experienced
to live forever if it was under Esau either.
Word.
That's true. That's true. That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't even know what life is. We don't know what life is. Nobody really knows what life truly can be. So for you to say, oh, I would never want to live forever, but you're talking about this meaningless life.
But see, they ain't never gonna be ready for somebody to put a gun to their head, though.
Right.
Because if you don't want to live forever, then that means if somebody put a gun to your head today, why are you bitching and moaning?
Right.
If they come 100 years later, you still gonna bitch. Please, I don't want to die.
Exactly.
You say you don't want to live forever. So if somebody came to you every 100 years, put a gun to your head, at what point are you gonna say, you know what, I'm ready. Take my ass out.
Yeah.
You know why? That's why with old people, when they get older, like you'll see them like for a young person, like damn, you about to die soon, right?
Yeah.
But to them, like they're not really concerned about that because it's like you've gotten to a point of like it's time to die, right? Like you're saying, it's like I'm like I'm at your body has decayed to the point where like I'm ready to actually not exist anymore in this vessel, and that's why the Lord's literally going to make us eternal, but. Yahweh Shai said, what? Who is this young man? So we're going to be at the prime state where we're never going to feel like, I'm ready to die now. Like, I'm not, my body is this weak. So, like, you talk to somebody that's like, I don't even know what they say prime is like, maybe 17, 18 years old, your body's like full of energy. 20. It's like, this is the best time of my life, right? Because, like, you got all the energy, you got your bones working good. Like, I be thinking about playing basketball right now. I'm like,
And I'll be in my mind, I'm like, yo, I can't believe this.
That's crazy.
Because I remember like when I was like we playing basketball all day, like I even tell them sometimes I go down the steps. And I remember as a kid, like you'll jump like 4 or 5 steps and just like do that. I be looking at that shit now, I'm like, yo, that shit a little dangerous.
Think about the knees.
Like, yo, this shit's a little dangerous right now. That's like 5 steps. And I'll do it just to like do it. I'm like, I'll be like, oh.
Cannot still.
Yeah, I can still do it. But my son does it like, like it's nothing. I'm like, yo, damn. But it's like us getting old. We're decaying. And the Lord's like, yo, that's why the mortal's gonna put on immortality. Like, yo, I'm gonna have to give y'all some new clothes. Yeah. Y'all gotta get some new clothes because like, this ain't it right now. This is it's not vibing. I'm like,
Yo, you gotta shake up the dust.
yeah, y'all should die like men.
You're gonna be my wife, if you're a woman, you want your woman to be, on point. You know what I'm saying? You don't want her to be coming all raggedy and shit, body all fucked up. Like, maybe we gotta do something about that.
Set
yourself up.
Let me take you shopping.
Yeah, we gotta take you shopping. We gotta get you some new clothes. Take her to Rainbow,
Take her to Rainbow.
In this case, and we got the money. I'm gonna deck you out though. Yeah. Messed up kingdom. I'm gonna take you out to Rainbow.
Hey. But there's like clothes for everything, right? Like if you're gonna run track, there's certain clothes for that. If you're gonna play basketball, you're gonna play football, you're going to work. Like there's clothes for everything. So when you think of clothes
for the occasion. Dress for
Well,
the occasion.
yeah, dress for the occasion. Like even a wedding, right? There's a way you dress. So when you think of clothes then in the sense of a body or an abode, and you think of what the occasion is, being the immortal kingdom, of course the Lord's gonna need to clothe us with new clothes. We can't. That's like going to. I don't know, it's like going swimming with a whole, I saw a video, you got this shake in the pool with freaking, Air Force Ones or some shit with jeans on. They're like, we let this thing in the pool. Yeah,
That's right.
Summertime,
it doesn't match. So that's why the Lord said this mortal must put on immortality before you come up into that kingdom.
Right.
Flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom. You can't come up here and go
Like that, yeah,
You come up here looking like that.
Exactly. Yep.
No, that's why I think it was in Matthew 25 where Yahushua said, once he came back, when he comes back, those who are without, like they will have the clothing, garments, he said grab them and toss them the fuck out.
Yeah, we'll let you in here looking like that.
Exactly. Like you're looking all crazy right now.
Oh, and that's why in Revelation it said that the righteousness is fine linen.
Yeah,
That's what the clothes is.
What is it? Yeah.
Fine linen.
Precept?
I think that's right.
And the precept you brought up before is crazy because it said he was wiped away all. It said all people gonna wipe away all tears.
Read it again.
Yeah.
Isaiah 25:8, it says, He will swallow up death in victory, and the Lord Yahweh will wipe away tears from off all faces.
Right.
And the rebuke of his people shall he take away from off all the earth.
Now you check that out. If you read it, like half of it says all people, but then he says then his people. Because somebody could twist that and be like, see, that's when he comes back. When he's gonna say Jesus come back, he's gonna wipe away all tears from all people. Nah, then he made it, he tightened it up. And then he said the rebuke of his people. Because people try to twist the Bible like everybody can get into this, man. Everybody can't get into this. Matter of fact, real quick.
Who's in tears?
Right, exactly. But all the other nations ain't in mourning right now. They got the fatness. What? Not they don't got the fatness of the earth, but they all got a piece of the fatness of the earth through Esau, man. But this is Lamentations, chapter 2, verse 1. It says, "How have the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with the cloud in His anger?" And mind you, daughter of Zion is Israel, but we talk about the chosen nation of the Heavenly Father, the Creator that created all this, His chosen nation. Check out what happened to them. It says, "How have the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with the cloud in His anger, and cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel, and remember not His footstool in the day of His anger." Verse 2, "The Lord hath swallowed up all the habitations of Jacob, and have not pitied. He hath thrown down in His wrath the strongholds of the daughter of Judah. He hath brought them down to the ground. He hath polluted the kingdom and the princes thereof." That's it right there. That's what we fell from the grace. When He said His anger, He was angry with His people. He was wroth with His people. These other nations ain't going through the curses of the law. So how the fuck you gonna get the salvation? You ain't going through none of the curses. How you gonna get the salvation? Please explain that. How you? The Lord said you gonna be under these curses to Israel. The other world, the other nations ain't part of the curses. So how they're part of the curses, or we're being cursed? They're the ones that we're given unto. So how you gonna say in the world that now all people can get salvation now, when y'all wasn't part of the curses? But anyway, verse 3. he have cut off in his fierce anger all the horn of Israel. The whole nation of Israel went off, man. It was no Israelite that was walking the earth that still had it all and still had immortality. No, everybody, a whole nation. He said he have cut off in his fierce anger all the horn of Israel, like their power and stuff. He have drawn back his right hand from before the enemy, and he burned against Jacob like a flaming fire, which devours round about, which is what we're going through right now. All this oppression, all of the low level shit, we being on the bottom, that's what this is right here. With the Lord's anger towards us, his wrath. But we know that slowly but surely, well not slowly, but it's coming off of us. Because he said he pulled his right hand from the enemy, but he's gonna put the right hand back on the enemy. And it says, around about verse 4, and this is the last one. It says, no, excuse me. Yeah, verse 4, it says, he had bent his bow like an enemy. He stood with his right hand as an adversary and slew all that were pleasant to the eye in the tabernacle of the daughter of Zion. He poured out his fury like fire. That's his own people. Niggas in the projects, drug addicts, alcoholics, absent fathers, whore-ass women, disobedient children. The whole nine, man. Everything we go through in America. The whole nine. That's him being an adversary to us. His chosen, his loved ones, his sons, daughters. But this is a punishment for a certain time, though. We're at the end of it, and continuing on verse 5, actually the last one. It said, verse 5. The Lord was an enemy; he hath swallowed up Israel. He hath swallowed up all her palaces. He hath destroyed his strongholds, and have increased in the daughter of Judah mourning and lamentation. Man, slavery, man. When the Negroes came over here, we got it the worst. He always sometimes mentioned Judah alone. He don't really mention other tribes like that too solo. He mentioned Judah a lot solo by himself. Like an adversary of Judah, the head tribes, the tribe that the Lord came out of. That
was the tribe where the Lord chose to, where his law and scepter would come out.
Yep.
So he came from the firstborn first. That's what it said. It's evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah. That's why the Lord always mentioned Judah. It wasn't like the actual man Judah that he was talking about. It was really speaking about Yahushua.
Yeah, true.
Because Yahushua was literally the firstborn created. So therefore, if the firstborn created, that's why he said he's the son of God. Firstborn came out of Judah, then that means that literally the head of the tribes is actual Judah. That's why God gave his name is in the tribe. Yahweh does. So that's like you said, that's why you gotta work. Because when you think about, we always say like when children, parents, you got siblings, who always get it to work. The oldest always get it to work. You know that. Hey, that's why Yahweh Shai got it. He's like, you knew that.
Hopefully, like, I think like